Hey guys, Clint here, Darden.com, and of course, the house of Biceps. I am here with some great people. Last weekend, I met some guys out at an ATM machine at the mall when I was getting my hair cut. And these guys recognized Goofy me with the long beard out of a crowd. So I met these guys, and they're with the Navy. So tell the people who you are and a little bit about yourself.
I'm Dakota Lowry. I'm from Marshfield, Missouri, but we live out in Virginia. We are actually out here on deployment right now with the Navy, and we stopped in Cyprus. We ran into Mr. Darden here and talked to him. He invited us out to train, so we've been out here training for a couple days.
So you're not CIA?
No, not CIA. Okay.
Would you tell me you're CIA if you were CIA? Because last night my son would not tell me if he's a zombie or not. Actually, he told me he was not a zombie, which I took it as a sure sign he was probably a zombie.
Probably definitely a zombie. If I was CIA, I'd definitely not tell you I was CIA.
Okay, as long as we got that underway. We've had some interesting conversations. Basically, give me kind of an idea of what your training is set up, and what you guys follow any kind of certain training programs.
Right now, we're actually doing the Wendler's 531, and it's because we don't really need any specialty equipment. And on the boat, we don't have specialty equipment. We set up our squat rack with the toe straps that we bought in Turkey. Before we bought the toe straps, all we were doing was we were loading it to 135, cleaning, pressing, putting it on our back, and then loading the plates from there, which is always fun whenever the ship's rocking. And then with the bench press, we would just lay down and they'd pick up the bar and hand it to us. Deadlifts, we can just deadlift off the floor. You can find anywhere to deadlift.
Right.
So we don't really have any specialty equipment.
So the 531 program worked great for that.
It worked.
Doesn't
awesome.
require bands or chains or any kind of special. You can just stick with the core exercises and get it done and make progress over time.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Well, give me kind of an idea of what your background is with sports. You do anything in high school?
I threw shot and disc. I was not great at either one. I played football, and I was probably the worst football player out of my brothers, but I could lift. So that's the one thing that I continued to do. I watched my older brother get out of school and keep eating like he was playing football, and he got bigger. They lost the weight, and then my little brother wants to lift, so he keeps lifting. He keeps trying to stick up with me, so whenever I go home, I get to go home and train with my little brother. I started weightlifting whenever my older brother was in junior high, and I just kept weightlifting all the way through, and that's about it. I just stayed with it the entire time.
You compete anything?
I compete in strongman, and I competed in powerlifting in high school. I'm yet to actually do an SPF meet out in Virginia, so when we get back, I'm hoping to do one in October.
Men's figure?
No, not men's figure. You'll see from the videos and pictures, I'm not cut up for men's figure.
Why don't you look at these photos and kind of explain to me, as well as the people at home, if I get the photos open, explain to me at home how your gym is set up and what that's... No, that's not it. That's the Raiderette that Harry Selko sent me. There's the tequila. Let me see, the back attack. There's the photos from Pam Bosco from her gym. Let's see if I can find your gym on it. Here we go. Just run me through these photos here and give me an idea of what I'm looking at here.
Okay, so as soon as you walk in, this is actually the forward BDS, the battle dressing station for medical. Above it is where we hang the straps from, and that is actually a 50 cal mount station where we store them. So it's actually welded to the wall all the way up at the top, and you can see the strap is just wrapped around and put up over the top, and we have all the assortment of all the different grips and bars and stuff for the cable machine over here.
So you have, I see you have a cable machine here. Is that one of your prized pieces of equipment?
Prize for the boat, yes. That and the Smith machine, which we don't ever actually touch.
Let's go here, and here is your squat rack. So explain to me exactly how this works.
Okay, so this was actually set up for bench, but when we do squat, we take it and we wrap it one more time to where it sits just a little below my shoulders, and whenever we pick it up, we take the slack out, And before we bought we had the HTs make the clips, all we'd do is we'd pick it up and you had to lean to one side and they'd slide off one strap, lean to the other and slide off the other, and then squat. The purple bands over here, they're on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We wrap around there as well, and it actually goes where the fat grips are.
Okay.
And it's a safety.
Okay.
So if we actually dump it, it sits probably about 2 feet off the ground to where you can get out from under it
Right.
without it crashing to the floor.
So I mean, this is how you set up for bench press, and when you're benching, you do the same thing. It's basically at a racked position here. So you just pick it up, they slide off the toe straps, and then you bench press. When it's done, put it back. So you don't bench press alone.
No.
Now, how do you set this up for deadlifts? I thought that was pretty interesting because the deadlift setup I thought was a really, really interesting thing.
Well, if we do rack pulls for the deadlifts, we take them and you can see up here there's a hole there, and there's actually one on the other side where we take that strap and we run it all the way down through the bottom, and it sits a little higher than a normal deadlift, right about where our sticking point is.
Right.
And we take the straps and we put them on the inside to where they won't move.
Okay.
And we put the weight over and pull, put it down, pull, put it down. On the actual floor where we do deadlift, we have to be careful because we actually have a work center under our forward gym, and they get all upset whenever we...
Something about sonar, you mentioned. They get kind of upset when you have sound from a deadlift.
Yes, they get really upset about that.
I can only imagine. So this one here, this was really interesting. Was it set up for something specific?
This was actually set up for Zercher squats.
Okay.
I just get under it and put it right in the crook of the elbow and stand up with it. That was earlier on in deployment. Since then, since we have the straps now, it's easier to set up if we want to do that. We can pull with the straps. We can pull it out for a front squat. We can back squat. We can push press out of it. So the straps in Turkey that we bought were actually like a saving grace for us.
So what do you have to say about the people? Because I get people all the time that tell me, they'll say, well, I can't squat because I don't have this rack, or I can't bench because I don't have this, or I don't have this special bar. What do you have to say to those guys?
Really, it's this. It's if you're determined to do something, you're going to find a way to do it. They always say, like a determined sailor will find a way, and we found ways. It really is just that. If you want to do it bad enough, you'll figure out a way to do it. Like us with the squat, we figured out a way to squat before we had toe straps. Then we figured out a little bit more safer way to do it, especially with us, rocking back and forth all the time. It's not safe, but,
Well, explain to me the rocking back and forth, because you told me a good story yesterday about doing the rack pulls on the boat. What is so special about doing rack pulls on a boat?
Actually, whenever you see it, imagine a pendulum, right? You pull it, and the pendulum's moving.
Right, back and forth.
But nothing else is moving. It's the opposite where we do rack pulls on a boat, because that or floor press, we can floor press out of the... you'll get under it, and it will literally be moving. You're like, oh, okay, it's rocking.
So the bar, you think the bar is moving, but it's not. You're moving.
Correct.
So how does that, is this like a new method? Should this be a part of the new 531 program? I don't know. We want to call it the wave method, the boat method, the Navy method? I don't know what kind of name we want to call this, but is this a new...
It's definitely taught us more balance, I can tell you that.
Well, you guys did great today. There were records the last couple of days. You guys did really, really well on semi-solid ground here anyway.
It's definitely where we pulled into Suda Bay for our mid-deployment. We went to the gym on base, and it's just a commercial gym. And when we got in there, we started lifting. We're like, oh, this is a lot easier. We're not worried about, falling over. We're not worried about this. So it is, I guess you could call it the Navy method. It's, like I said, on the boat, you don't need special equipment. You don't need a $3,000 squat rack.
Right.
I bought 3 toe straps with 55 lira, which
Right.
is like $20.
Right.
So, I don't know. You could call it what you want, but...
Well, I did see you guys yesterday, and you would pull a deadlift, and you would step back like, this feels funny.
It took a second.
It took most of your warm-ups to get through and to realize what the deadlift actually felt like, and that it was going to find your groove anyway on the deadlift. It took you guys quite a few sets. We'll show some video from that. But I think it's really interesting the point that you make that you are going to find a way, and you don't have to have it. Obviously, you should have a $3,000 collegiate rack from EliteFTS.com, but you don't have to have that, to lift big weights. And obviously with the circumstances you guys are in right now, that's not an option. So tell me, where do you guys go from here? You guys are leaving Cyprus soon. Do you know where you're going next?
Do not know where we're going next. We'll just be out for a little while. We get home in a few months, and then from there I get to train at Brute Strength Gym again. So I'll be back on solid ground for at least a few months.
Right.
And really, it's all up in the air.
Well, how long has it been since you've been home?
Right now it's been 6 months. 6 months since we've been home.
Okay, and you're roughly several months away from being back home.
Yeah, a few months.
Okay.
We won't make an entire year deployment, but
Okay.
we'll be out for a minute.
Okay. How does that affect training?
Like we've been talking about, it sucks to have to train on a rocking ship, but we found a way to do it, so
Right.
we just go ahead with that. It affects it, but at the same time, you have your good days, you have your bad days.
Right.
Nobody likes to talk about their bad days,
Right.
and we have them on the boat. You have to get up for watch at 3 o'clock in the morning, but you get off at 10. You have to train after you get off or before watch. So you'll be training on 4 hours of sleep. After watch, catch a few more hours, go back to your work day. It's not. I'm not gonna say hard, because it is hard, but it's not impossible.
Mhm.
So being able to do what we do, as well as our job, it's just another day for us, I guess.
Well, how important are training partners in all of this? Because you've had several guys come out here with you the last couple of days. How important is it to have a group of guys that have the same desire and belief that you do when it comes to these situations?
Very important. It is ridiculous important, because my training partners like Jason and Ray, when we get to the gym, we don't care about, I just want bigger forearms. I want huge biceps. It's, what are we gonna do today to get stronger?
Mhm.
So we have some guys on the boat, like we talked about, the guy that does figure, and we talked about the 5-3-1. We'll get you stronger, but it won't get you big. Well, for us, it's not about getting big. We don't care about that. It's, what are we going to do today to get stronger? And I feel like over the course of the last 6 months, we have done everything that we can to get stronger. Then whenever they get back to Virginia, they're wanting to start training strongman, and I'm wanting to compete and meet as soon as we get back. So hopefully everything works out that I can go do that.
Sounds great. Well, is there anybody you want to say thanks to, say hi to at home?
Yes, I want to say thank you to Stella Krupinski and Matt Reynolds, the owners of the 2 different gyms I get to train at when I'm home. And I want to say thank you to my wife, because she supported me this entire deployment. And thank you to the entire Brute Strength family.
Well, Dakota, from myself, the House of Biceps, EliteFTS.com, and everybody else watching, man, glad to have you here. Thank you for the interview, and we appreciate everything that you do beyond just lifting weights. You're doing a lot of stuff that nobody else is willing to sacrifice to do for our country. People like myself have never served in any way except holding a flag on a platform, wearing USA across our back, and we think we're the real soldiers at that point in time. But we appreciate it very much, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.